Will you look at that? We've got two things to look at today. We've got a new Azrael and we've got... Good lord, look at the size of that fin. Before we get into it, this video is sponsored by the Magnet Baron, and I'm pretty sure Barry's going to show up later and interrupt me to talk about that. But for now, they did not take a day off over at Warhammer Land. Instead, they decided to reveal Azrael, the Master of the Dark Angels. And you know what? He looks remarkably similar to how he was before he got Primarisified. This is the man himself, and the main difference between this and the previous version is that this one has a gun that looks like it might actually function. Almost everything else about this is pretty much the same, right down to the pose. Like, I know we say that when it comes to upgrading or like Primarisifying notable characters, we want them to stay pretty similar, right? You don't want just a completely different thing that looks nothing like what you used to. We want it to be nostalgic. We want it to reflect the firstborn nature of their previous model, but, you know, redo the scale, make it more crisp, more modern, just bring it in line in terms of quality with the fantastic array of finely detailed miniatures we get from GW these days. I mean, let's be honest, detail is not something that they struggle with, but this one particularly, they really didn't do anything to it at all. They made the gun make sense, and he's taller, definitely taller. He's still got the Watcher in the Dark holding his helmet, or you can put the helmet on him. Let's be fair now, let's be fair, you can also have him wear the helmet, and yeah, still got the same banner. I think the sword is still the same, the pose is pretty much the same, the head is pretty much exactly the same. The actual armour itself, like the Dark Angel's iconography on the front, is pretty much the same. So, he's taller. He's definitely taller. Honestly, just the fact that he can wear the helmet instead of it being carried by the Watcher, that is a massive upgrade to me. Because the helmet is fantastic. It's very silly. It's very silly. It's so unbelievably big and clunky and unwieldy, and the wings are comically large. But you know what? I don't care about that. I don't care. I think it looks fantastic. I've always loved his helmet, and the fact that it was always being held by someone bugged me, to be honest, because it was like, let him wear the cool helmet. But as far as I know, you couldn't do that. Now, though, now you can, and that is the superior version. Let's be honest. Having the Watcher hold the sheath of the sword, that's cooler. This should be the way you do it. I mean, I say that. It's your model. If you decide to buy it, you can do whatever you like with it. But I personally would recommend this because look how regal and how kind of silly, but also awesome he looks right now. Something that I really appreciate is that they have done a nice side-by-side comparison at the bottom there, where you can see the new one behind the old one. And yeah, I mean, I really wasn't exaggerating when I said they haven't done all that much. Like, it's the same pose pretty much. The sword's being held a little bit lower down. He doesn't look quite as upset about things. I think, from what I can tell, has he still got the skull bits on the side of the power pack? Quick look back up, and yes, he has. So those have remained in place as well. You cannot tell me that they did not remain faithful to the idea of what Azrael is, because they very much did. They very much did. I will say, though, I mean, I joked about the gun actually making sense now. Genuinely, that's one of the best parts of this model. Seriously, though, the gun, his old gun, absolutely the stupidest weapon they've ever made. Like, I'm not trying to be horrible, I'm not trying to be mean about the old gun, but the old gun, how do the rounds get from the clip into the actual, like, how does that work? How does that work? There is not enough space between, it dips down at the back so that it cuts off where the, what is that? I have disliked that weapon for so long because it's so utterly nonsensical, and I know a lot of people are like that, right? It's not just me. It's not like I was sat there and I was the only person thinking, yeah, but how does that even work? Everyone was thinking that, and everyone has always thought that, so it's fine. But the fact that the gun has been fixed, that has got to be the best part of the model, surely. I mean, look at that abomination right there, and then look at that and tell me which one looks more functional. Now, I'm not suggesting that this isn't also silly. Like, I'm not saying that it's not a silly gun, but at least it's a silly gun that looks like it might, maybe, work at least a little bit, you know? And let's be honest, if you like the old version of Azrael, you're probably going to like this version because there's not a vast amount of difference between the two. He's just bigger, he's crisper, he's got more clean edges, the detail is better, it's finer. It is the full-on definition of just being brought up to date without really messing with the formula. Now, the other lad that we need to talk about is this fella, Ajex Gorgoth.
Oi, we ain't talking about him yet. Did you forget about me? You forgot about me, didn't you? You thought I wasn't going to show up, didn't you? But I did show up. And now there's nothing you can do about it, because I've taken control over the edit. And you know why I've taken control of the edit? Because this video is brought to you by the Magnet Baron. Now, you might have sat there before and thought to yourself, well, if this sounds great, the magnets sound fantastic, and be able to magnetise your kit sounds like a worthwhile endeavour. Oh, that word made me brain hurt. But you might have also thought, how easy is it to magnetise stuff anyway, because all your magnets stick to each other, and if you're trying to magnet one magnet to a different magnet and glue the magnets into the hole where the magnets go, you might end up messing up your magnets. Well, you don't need to worry about that, because one of the things that you can get from the Magnet Baron is the Magnetisation Starter Bundle. It's got everything you need. It's got magnicators with blue and red polarity sticks. It's got a large pin vise with various drill bits, a bottle of super glue, and a whole load of magnets to get you started. Don't mess about buying loads of stuff. Buy one kit, magnetise it. And when you do, get your magnets from the Magnet Baron. I've said me piece. You can have control of the video back. Don't screw it up.
Great, no thanks, brilliant. I'm sure people are not going to get tired of that bit. Anyway, Ajex Gorgoth is the Lord of the Fist, which is, by the way, the silliest name, and also my favourite name they've given to anything in any game system ever. And this, I think it's fair to say, is one of the sillier Necromunda models for a while. In fact, to be honest, when it comes to silly Necromunda models, House Goliath have got quite a few of the top ranking ones for me. Firstly, that is a truly absurd fin on the top of the head there. If you've got space for 4 skulls and 3 stud spike things, then that means that your fin is too tall, okay? You need to chill out with the fin. I don't even know what's going on with that chainsword. I think it's got like it's got an extra blade at the top of it, along with all of the chainsword bits going down the length of it as well. I mean, what the hell? That is a lot of chain as well. For one person, that's a lot of weight to carry around. That's a lot of excess weight. And it's got like little bits of blade at the bottom on one bit of the chain. What is happening? The big old power fist? I think it's a power fist. Whatever it is ridiculous because it looks like it's been built out of spare shoulder pads. Like, the shape isn't all that different from the shoulder pads that he has on his shoulders. Just all around a bit mad, a bit mental. The iron jaw and the prosthetic nose as well really speak of a man who's not had the most comfortable life. But the thing is, given the overall state of him, I wouldn't be surprised if he didn't accidentally cut his own nose off. Like, I don't even know if that's a battlefield injury or whether he just got overexcited and tried to scratch his face with his own chainsaw. It could be either. It looks like there's some gross cable into skin detail going on the arm, which is always a nice touch. The spikes on the shoulder pad are surprisingly restrained given the crest on top of the head. The overall look of the armour is cool, it's just mad. To be honest, you take that head off, you stick a Khorne Berserker's helmet on and you've got a pretty cool lord. Just throwing it out there, like, this is a multi-purpose fella if you ask me. Oh my god, I hadn't even scrolled down yet. What the hell? There is a lot going on there. There is a lot. That's a little bit of Mad Max, actually. There's, yeah, a bit of it is Mad Max. Not all of it. The amount of chain hanging off that, like, power pack on his back is absolutely absurd. What the hell? Like, there's even more going on there than I thought there was, and I already thought there was a hell of a lot going on. His fist has got exhausts. His, like, power pack has multiple exhausts, which I think some of them go to the axe, or no, the axe has got its own exhaust. How much power? What do people plug into him to charge their phones? What is going on? There's just so much happening with this guy. It's extremely over the top and very silly, but it's kind of growing on me minute by minute, to be honest. Now, we do also have a bit of House Cawdor stuff thrown in for good measure, so when they go out into choking sandstorms, they have rags wrapped around their faces, and that's about it. So, about what you'd expect for them, bunch of lunatics. Got a knackered bottle full of water, you've got a rag over your face and bandages over your lips, and that's all you need. Oh, you also need candles on your forehead. That's clearly a given. And yeah, absolute nut jobs these look like. I mean, just really, really creepy and weird, most of these heads. Really creepy and weird. Especially the one with the 2 bandages across the mouth. That just looks demented. And yet, because it's Cawdor, slight hint of charm. Anyway, that is all I have for you today. Videos are going to be a bit sparse, a bit sporadic over the next few days because, well, it's that weird, like, what I've heard it referred to as the Gooch week. Between Christmas and New Year, where all the days blend into one, and some people are working and some people have got all the time off, and if you've got kids then you really can't do anything because they're going to be at home all the time. It's a weird week. I'll show up wherever I can. I hope you had a lovely Christmas, and if you don't celebrate Christmas, I hope you had a good day anyway, and I will see you for the next one, whatever that may be. Thank you again to the Magnet Baron for sponsoring the video. I'll see you all next time.